pleasant good morning to one and all for the national level webinar entitled Airline Sales and Marketing, anchored by the MBA Airline and Airport Management Department. Nehru College of Air, we are highly gratified by all your decorous presence at this sublime occasion. Let's usher in this online seminar with due homage to our provident founder chairman, late P.K. Das, an educationalist and philanthropist.
Very warm good morning to the virtual gathering. So I'd like to give you a few etiquettes to be followed throughout the session for the smooth running of the webinar. So I request all of you to kindly mute your mic and camera. Kindly do not present your screen. And we are streaming this program in YouTube Live. If you leave the meeting in between accidentally, kindly rejoin by the Google Meet link or by using the YouTube link. Clarify all your doubts at the end of the session, or else post your questions in the chat box. Feedback link will be provided at the end of the session, both in the box and in YouTube comment box. Kindly fill all the details of the feedback form to receive your e-certificate. Thank you. I wish all of you to stay healthy.
Prayer should not be regarded as a duty which must be performed, but rather as a privilege to be enjoyed. Let us all now adore the Almighty with an invocation.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெடிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிது எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த காவிடத்து திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு இறை முதலும் தரித்தனர் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசன போல் அனைக்கும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் வணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே சீரிழமை நிரம்பியம் இசைய மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you. The soul should always stand ajar to welcome the ecstatic experience. On behalf of MBA Airline and Airport Management Department, we are all enchanted to accord a convivial welcome to all of you. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. We are highly enraptured to call upon our sapient Professor Emeritus, MBA Airline and Airport Management Department, Dr. P. Muthuswamy, to cordially welcome the imposing multitude. Over to you, Dr. P. Muthuswamy, sir.
Good morning, all of you. Hello, is it audible to? You are audible? Yes, you are audible. Good morning, once again. I deem it's my privilege to extend welcome to all of you. I am Professor P. Muthuswamy, Professor Emeritus, with the pronouns to my founder chairman P.K. Das, respects to our managing trustee and our dynamic CEO and secretary, our beloved Dean Balaji sir, my dear colleagues in MBA department, our supporters, well-wishers from other departments, Professor Singarapati sir, Ramesh Babu sir, and all my students, and also others who have joined this webinar. It is a wonderful webinar today. We have a very interesting and unique topic for deliberation. It is about marketing and salesmanship. Marketing and sales of the airlines business. Marketing is a very lovable subject for me. Marketing is a bridge which connects the producer and consumer. Marketing is the all and end all of human life. It is marketing that gives life to everyone in the globe. So this Philip Kotler gives the 4 P's of marketing: the product, the price, the promotion, and physical distribution. Later, experts have added one more P, the people, giving importance to customer relationship management. So, it is marketing that helps designing the product for the consumer, pricing the product according to its ability, affordability, depending on the demand and supply conditions, promoting the product in the minds of the consumer, thereby creating a behavioral modification to make a potential buyer into a real buyer, and lastly, physical distribution, carrying the goods from the producer to the doors of the consumer. All these involve human being. So, background, this topic today gains momentum. EBA Airline Airport Management Program also, airline marketing and airport marketing. Because what we teach in the classrooms were bookish. Knowledge that we gain from books. Our teachers as well as our students will be greatly benefited by the speech to be given by a practical person, very big expert from has a lot of experience in aviation industry, especially in salesmanship. Salesmanship is also a quality to speak. He should be a leader. He is a prompter, converts the innocent man into a knowledgeable man about the product and service, and he turns him into a buyer, and thereby he succeeds in his mission to sell the product or service. So, Mr. Madhubarani is an expert in that. He is going to speak on the salesmanship and the marketing of the airlines. Really, we are fortunate to have him to this webinar. And first I want to express my heartfelt thanks to him for accepting our invitation to be here in our webinar to speak to us. Yes, sir. Thanks to our team, sir. As the chief guest remarked that Balaji sir is a resourceful person, I also acknowledge that he is a wealthy person in terms of human resource. He has got many speakers, dignitaries all over the world. He has traveled all over all countries in the world. He has got a wealth of human beings, and he can call any speaker from any part of the world. So much so, today he got our speaker to our webinar. I also thank him for that. Now, let me extend my warm welcome. That's my duty. I start from welcoming our speaker first. He is from Chicago. Thanks to this pandemic, this whole world has become a small village. Today we are able to address to people all over the world and also listen to people from all over the world. So unless this pandemic is there, we cannot get a speaker like Madhuvarani sir from Chicago. So in a minute's time, moments of time, we are able to arrange the speaker and get speaking to us over this webinar session. So this webinar is not merely a national seminar, it is international seminar for us. And hence it gains momentum for all our teachers and MBA students. So, Mr. Madhuvarani sir, I kindly accept my warm welcome for your accepting to be in our webinar, and we also hope for the better higher relationship hereafter in this kind of through these kind of platforms. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. Our managing trustee is a person to bless our efforts. It is due to his blessings we are able to arrange so many programs. Though not able to attend our seminar, he may be hearing or listening to our webinar through some other sources. So I formally extend my warm welcome to our managing trustee, sir, Advocate Dr. P. Krishnadas, our dynamic young Chief Executive, Dr. P. Krishna Kumar, is always with us. Never he says no to our programs. He loves MBA program. The MBA Airline Airport Management is the favored child of his father, so he also supports us in our effort. Unfortunately today he is too busy with other assignments, so he said go ahead with the program and send his best wishes. I also welcome him for this program. Our beloved Dean sir, so special welcome to you, sir, because it's not this webinar, so many webinars we are getting the speakers from you through your influence, your relationship with people in the aviation industry as well as general other industries through your activity, Rotarian activities. We are able to get the good speakers. Let me extend my warm welcome to our beloved Dean, Dr. Balaji sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our these people are the pushing factors for our efforts. These people so far I listed out are the pushing factors. They are pushing the temple cart that is running, being pulled by so many workers from the front side. Some people are there behind the cart. The cart is our webinar today, the marketing and salesmanship. Some people are there behind the cart. The cart is our webinar today, the marketing and salesmanship of airlines by our speaker. So our frontline workers, are the people who are really doing this work. My dear colleagues, Mr. Govinda Solai, Mr. Erasto Raba, Mallika Madam, these are all the people who are really arranging. And I also extend very warm welcome to them. And behind all our efforts of these field workers are the supporting strength given by Mrs. Ilakya, Mrs. Vasugi, and Miss Abhisha Madam. Abhisha also here. And there is our alumni turned teacher, faculty member, Mr. Salvin. He is always here with us, even when we ask him to be here to help us in any such programs. He comes all the way from Pollachi. My hearty welcome to all these supporting people. My dear, our friend, also our guru in digital language, he is teaching, Mr. Noor Ahmad sir. He is also here to help us in developing YouTube connectivity to our program. My special welcome to Noor sir and all others, my dear students. Lot of people have joined this webinar, very eager to listen to this program. So I don't want to take much time before the audience and the speaker. Let me finish this, and then I can go over to MOC desk. I think Malia Madam, please continue.
Thank you, sir, for the amiable invitation. The vital parameters that differentiate the extraordinary men from the ordinary are innovation, creativity, and uniqueness. We are enthralled to request our extraordinary rapturous Dean, Academic Affairs, and Director, MBA, Airline and Airport Management Department, Dr. P.R. Balaji, to render the presidential address at this prestigious online colloquium. Over to you, sir.
Very, very good morning to one and all present here, and a good evening to our chief guests. For us, while it is morning here, it's almost midnight for our chief guest who has accepted our invitation and who is here to address our students. So first of all, as a Dean of the college, let me also extend a very warm welcome to today's chief guest. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. In spite of it's the midnight, you have gracefully accepted the moment we requested, and you are here. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
At the outset, I would like to deem it as my privilege and honor to preside over this webinar on behalf of our CEO and Secretary, Dr. P. Krishna Kumar. He's a very dynamic personality and very, very busy person, managing 22 colleges. And especially when it comes during the admission period, he becomes even much more busier. And though he officially said he is going to join us, and I'm sure you would have had a last moment commitment, he is unable to join. But however, he sends his wishes and blessings to our chief guest and his thanks as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Today, I decided every time people they come, they do a motivational talk, it's time that's it in marketing. See, it's a very, very vast and interesting subject because I have also been in sales and marketing for many, many years, both in India as well as abroad. And that's the reason I always say, for a marketing man, there has to be tie in the neck and lie in the tongue. So that is also a part of marketing, which I always. So today when I selected topic airline sales and marketing, I was wondering whom should I rope in. Suddenly it struck me because we have been interacting, Mr. Barney and me been interacting for quite some time now. So I said he is the right person because he is having a vast experience both in the Middle East, like he joined as a sales manager to take care of Sharjah branch. And the best thing about him is in 1990, I went as a senior ticketing staff. By then, he was already a manager. Normally, there, the minor managers with all the benefits, he was already with the family. And I used to always envy his car, a lovely Toyota Cressida I used to drive. And I used to envy the way he drives because it's such a power steering. With one hand, the car was as big as a ship. He used to take that white car, I remember. So easily he used to park. So I used to admire, but he used to be a down-to-earth man. We lived in the same building. It's a 9-story building. In second floor, he used to live, and I was staying in the bachelor quarters in the 7th floor. But in the 9th floor, we used to have the table tennis. So even in the midnight, we used to play. Sometimes, it will be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on weekends, and his wife will have to come and remind him it's time for him to go and sleep. That's how he is a very, very, whether it's a cricket match, anything, he used to be very, very sporty person. And that sportsmanship has not changed in him in spite of so many years have gone. The moment I called him, he said, why not? And we are also planning an entertainment event also among our own ex-colleagues. That's also going to happen. Anything I say, he will immediately say yes. And the same way, when I requested him, can you address my students on sales and marketing? He took it very, very seriously. I am telling you, he started calling me and he started asking me what exactly your students are looking for. What should I address them? And he started working on it. He took this webinar very, very serious. So that means, that shows his professionalism and that shows his interest towards the youngsters. So we have such a wonderful person here today. And when we selected the topic sales and marketing, many students are still confused. What is the difference between a sales and a marketing? See, today, in simple, in the welcome address, he was talking about Kotler's theory and all that, the 4 P's and the extended P's. But in very, very simple, I would like to say, today, if you want to travel to Chennai to Singapore, when I say today there are no much flights. I'm talking in general situation. When you want to travel Chennai to Singapore, what happens? Chennai to Singapore, you have so many options, so many flights going. Air India Express, Singapore Airlines, your FlyScoot, your Indigo, your SpiceJet. So many airlines are traveling. That means, the capacity, it's available in all the airlines. But somebody goes and if he's asking, I would like to go to Singapore, give me a ticket. Then you select a airline. Okay, sir, can I put you on SpiceJet? This is cheapest. He says, yes, okay, I will travel. That is sales. But when he comes and says, I want to go to Singapore, but I want to travel only on Singapore Airlines. So that means the airline has created a brand image among the competitors. And that is called the marketing. Today, we are dealing with a very, very perishable commodity. How many of you know, I always say, airline, the flight tickets are as good as a jasmine flower or as good as a fish in the market. And at least I can say the fish and the jasmine can be stored for another day. Okay, you can store it in a refrigerator and probably still it will look as fresh. For one more day you can manage. So, but airline, the airline tickets are totally different. The airline seats, once the flight is airborne, can you ever sell it? You cannot. If the flight is having a capacity of 300 seats, and if you're able to sell only 200 seats, the 100 seats revenue which is lost, it's lost forever. It cannot be stored and sold again. So that is a perishable commodity. For such a perishable commodity when you're dealing and such a competitive environment, don't you think we need to have a marketing? A marketing is essential in an airline to sustain in your business. And how do we do a marketing? It needs to be very, very creative. You will have to be very, very innovative. No, it reminds me of a very, very small story. One man, in a summer, very hot summer, he selected a place where a lot of people used to travel through that way. He started selling watermelon. And it started selling like hotcakes. Everybody who passed by used to buy the big watermelons and go. Seeing this, another competitor came. He said, "Oh, this fellow is a monopoly." That fellow, when he was monopoly, he did not worry about anybody. Another fellow came. He brought another cart. He started selling watermelon. Then there was a competition. Can you ever stop a competition? You can never stop a competition. So immediately, this fellow, the fellow who was selling the watermelon in the very beginning itself, he decided, okay, instead of selling full watermelons, let me cut it into slices so that I will sell it so it becomes even more affordable, I can sell. So against his competitor, when competitor was selling full watermelon, he cut into pieces and he started selling it. Then again, the people started going only to him. They started buying all the cut pieces. So it was affordable and he started selling it. So the competitor was watching. Oh, why I'm not able to sell? Because he's selling the sliced pieces. I will also do. Why do I say is competitors will always copy. They will come. You cannot prevent competitors. How you are going to be creative and innovative, that is going to retain you in the business. So what he did immediately, when that fellow also started cutting into slices and started selling, this fellow, what he did, instead of cutting into slices, he started scooping it into round balls. There are scoopers available. He started scooping it into round balls and then started packing it and selling it. Why do I say this? Today, in this world, the airline business, you start a new business, for the same route, there will be so many new airlines which will be coming. You can't be worried about competitor. You will have to think how you are going to outcome the competition, how you are going to be creative, how you are going to be innovative, and how you are going to attract your customers. That is what you need to think. It's a very, very challenging, but at the same time, very, very interesting job. Because Mr. Barney, he was into sales, both in the Middle East as well as in the US, and he has worked for Kuwait Airways, he had worked for Japan Airlines, carries with him vast experience. Who else will be a better person to come and explain about the sales and marketing? That's what I said. Marketing is everywhere. You talk about the domestic home appliances product. When I was working in Qatar, I thought I found a beautiful TV. I immediately liked it. It was a 3D TV, and I felt my children will like it. I shipped it from there, from Qatar, so it's door delivery. It costed me almost nearly 3 lakhs when it landed here. Within 2 months, when I came home, when I went to the market, I'm seeing that has been outdated. A new TV had come. LG had come out with a curved TV. It has become curved with 3D. So mine has become outdated in a question of 3 months. And the same thing which I have seen in Middle East when I was living for almost 16 years, every time I used to buy electronic products like the video camera. Started with a very small, with a viewfinder, you'll have to look, it's black and white, bigger ones, huge to carry. Later on, it became very handy. The video camera has become handycam. And the handycam, again, it has come to digital. And similarly, DSLR cameras. The HP of Hindustan photo films here in Ooty, where 1,000 employees. And those days, we used to develop the negatives and print. Now it is gone. The company is closed. Why? They failed. There were no innovation. Similarly, airlines, once upon a time, they were thinking British Airways was thinking the competitor is Air France. The competitors are Lufthansa. Competitors are Alitalia for them. But suddenly the competition has come through video conferencing. Today, see, our digital platform, Google Meet, is allowing Mr. Bharani to speak from Chicago to address our students in Kuniyamuttur and various parts of Tamil Nadu and India through a video conferencing. Otherwise, imagine if this innovation was not there, I had to send a flight ticket to him, I will have to bring him, accommodate him, He has to be away from his family, away from his work. Everything will work out very, very expensive, and definitely we would not even rope him. This is called the innovation. Today, only with innovation we can sustain in the business. And that is what really the marketing needs to do. What is your customers are looking for, and how are we going to do? So these are all he's going to definitely tell us. And again, in marketing, you need to be very, very optimistic, I will say. It reminds me of a very, very small story, which I would like to tell. Once the Bata company wanted to open a showroom in a very remote village in Africa. It's a very tribal village, remote village. What they have done, they said, we want to open a showroom, but we need to know the feasibility. And the company sent two salespeople in two different directions to enter the village and do a survey. One fellow entered the village through north, while the other fellow entered the village through south. They went. After 2 days, they sent a report. The fellow who entered through the north, he said, these people, no one is having the habit of wearing slippers or shoes. So if you're going to open a showroom, it is going to be an utter failure. They are not going to buy because it's a very, very tribal village. So let us drop the idea of opening a showroom. He sent a report to the sales manager. Another guy who entered through south, he looked at the people and immediately he wrote a letter to the sales manager, said, don't delay, immediately open the showroom because there are no competitors available. We need to educate these people the use of the slippers. They are tribal, they are walking with barefoot. Once you educate, we can capture the entire market. There are no competitors. This is how a marketing person will have to keep his eyes and ears open and see the possibilities. Every difficulty, there is a possibility, and you will have to convert the difficulty into possibility, and that is what the marketing is. Why I like to say, because it's my very, very favorite subject, because I've been in marketing, and I always tell my students, this tie, which I wore in the year 1985, after my graduation, I joined in the marketing in a travel agency. From that time till this today's webinar, I have not removed, and it's not the same tie, please. Don't think it's the same tie which I've been wearing. It has become so habitual. It has become so habitual, so passionate. In marketing, you need to be very, very passionate. And my dear students, most of you I have seen, the alumni, when they call me and they say, I'm getting placed, everybody says, sir, I've joined as a security officer, I am in the customer service agents. Why don't you think of marketing? There is a very vast scope in marketing. Every airline needs marketing people. They are ready to recruit any number of marketing people as long as you are able to bring in the required business. If you bring in business, the more the marketing sales people, the more the business, definitely the airline will be happy. So there are plenty of opportunities available. Okay, on this occasion, I should also thank in front of the audience, Mr. Barney, for the very good help which you have done. 10 years ago, in 2010, when I went to Chicago, he had hosted me a lovely dinner. And after that, with my family, I was flying Kuwait Airways, and he was the sales head in Chicago then. And we were holding a standby tickets. No, in an airline, what is the status is you cannot have a confirmed ticket unless it is a duty travel. So I was holding a standby ticket and my entire family. And that day, the flight was chock-a-block. It was fully booked. And I had vacated the hotel room, and I'm there waiting in the airport. And when they said, sorry, sir, you will not be in a position to board the flight. And those flights were only 3 flights a week. So I had to wait for another 2 days, which is going to be expensive. Plus, I need to resume my duty back home in Muscat. I was working in Muscat. So I didn't know what to do. Immediately, I called him. He managed, he spoke to somebody in the airport and all that. And he told, see, they checked the flight. Maximum what they can do is they can put you up to Kuwait. Because it was a connecting flight. Kuwait Airways, I was flying Chicago to Kuwait, and from Kuwait to Muscat. He said, I can take care of you up to Kuwait. But Kuwait to Muscat, the flight is full. What do you do? I said, no, let me go closer to my country. So put me on the flight. He put me, the entire family, we managed. We landed in Kuwait. Unfortunately, in Kuwait to Muscat, the flight was chock-a-block. It was full. And I had to stay overnight in the airport. I booked a room in the airport. I stayed. And again, for the next 3 days, Kuwait Muscat flight was full. I had to call my office and ask them to reroute my ticket Kuwait to Dubai. So I rerouted the ticket Kuwait to Dubai. And in Dubai airport, I didn't have a UAE visa. In the Dubai airport, I asked them to send a PTA. I don't know how many of you know what is PTA. It's a prepaid ticket advice. So I said them, send me a firm ticket, prepaid ticket advice to Dubai airport in transit. I went, collected, I picked up, and I came. A different experience totally I had on that journey. And you had helped me to travel all the way up to Kuwait. And from Kuwait, you did warn me, but I took a chance and I did, but it gave me a different experience. Because of that, I stayed in Kuwait and I had to transit, collect a ticket, PTA ticket, which I had never done in my life. So that has all come. A wonderful, wonderful experience which you gave, and I need to really thank you for all that.
Anytime.
So today, dear friends, I'm telling you, join the field of sales and marketing. You will definitely excel. See, the sales and marketing is not like a teamwork. It is like an individual batting score. You can add up. You can reflect your figures. That's what I did in my previous company. And the more the sales, the more the benefits. Okay, you can move into the higher scales. Your salary levels will go up. Your incentives you will get. And like as I said, as a batsman, Tendulkar, if he's going to score century, the entire century is credited to his account. It's credited to his account. But whereas, similarly, a fielder would have saved so many boundaries. Can anyone say that he has to save fielder? They will just acknowledge him is a very good fielder, probably. But this is what, in sales when you're joining, every single effort which you put, it will reflect in your career. So dear friends, I wish you all good luck. I will fail in my duties if I don't thank my favorite MBA department, especially Mr. Rabba, Aristo Rabba. Today he is the convener of this program. And we did a trial run as well. Mr. Rabba was very, very helpful. And the moment I called him, I said, you are going to take care of this webinar. With wholehearted, immediately accepted his responsibility, and he did. It's not only Mr. Rabba. We have Professor Emeritus, a very, very senior person, Mr. Muthuswamy, who had given the welcome address. We have our Malliga ma'am, the IATA coordinator, who is also doing the Master of Ceremony today, joined along with Mrs. Ilakya ma'am, Mrs. Vasagi ma'am from the other department, and we also have Mr. Solai sir, Mr. Madan sir from this department. Everybody had joined together to make this webinar success. So I wholeheartedly congratulate and thank the MBA team and Mrs. Vasugi and Mrs. Ilakya, and of course Miss Abhishadani ma'am also in this webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you. And like you all, I am also very, very eager to listen to our chief guest. Thank you so much. Over to the MC. Over to the host, please.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful address. All the participants at this webinar, especially our students, are aware that sales and marketing is an inevitable part in the airline industry. An airline's financial health relies greatly on the sales of both plane tickets and cargo space. It also creates a demand for the airline's products. So the personnel in the sales and marketing department have a key role in influencing the successful operation of an airline. Today we have amidst us the cherished presence of our chief guest, Mr. Madhu Bharani, who has worked in the sales and marketing department of various reputed airlines, to relinquish a special address. I, Mallika, IATA coordinator, deem it a great privilege to etch the profile of our distinctive chief guest. Good business leaders create a vision, articulate the vision, passionately own the vision, and relentlessly drive it to completion. Mr. Madhu Bharani is an MBA graduate from the reputed Roosevelt University, USA. He has about 22 years of work experience in B2B and B2C sales and marketing in the US. Our eminent chief guest has worked as a sales manager for Kuwait Airways at US. He held the prestigious post of head of sales for Kuwait Airways at the United States of America. Besides our chief guest, has also worked as National Account Manager for Japanese Airlines at Chicago, USA. He is currently working for Rolling Meadows, USA. On behalf of MBA Airline and Airport Management Department, I extend an affable welcome to you, sir. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the warm welcome and the very kind introduction. And before I start, I want to specifically thank Dr. Muthuswamy and Dr. Balaji for making my job easier. They beautifully put across the concept of marketing and the sales and the difference between both and the intricacies. It is really wonderful. I wish I could sit back and hear them talk about marketing and sales. I will benefit a lot. However, since I come prepared for the presentation now, I will go ahead with it. First, wonderful good morning to all of you. And my respectful greetings to Dr. B. Krishnakumar, CEO and Secretary of the Pioneering Nehru Group of Institution, the management, faculty, support team, well-wishers, and the students of the Nehru College of Aeronautics and Applied Sciences. My sincere thanks to Dr. P. Muthuswamy, Professor Emeritus of MBA Department, Dr. P.R. Balaji, Dean Academic Affairs, Mrs. E. Malika, IATA Coordinator, Mr. Erasto Rabba, Assistant Professor, MBA Department, and all concerned for organizing webinars and for giving the opportunity for my presentation in today's webinar. Several topics for today's presentation was discussed with Dr. Balaji, and keeping relevance to the students' academic pursuit. As a priority, this topic was chosen, which is airline marketing and sales. The students of MBA, Airline and Airport Management are bound to be impacted in their career by any one of these words: airline, marketing, sales. So let's start the engines and take off with the word airline and discuss marketing and sales while in the air. One would have heard of the humorous romantic saying, "No money, no honey." The importance of money can also be understood from the respected Tirukkural. அருள் இல்லார்க்கு அவ்வுலகம் இல்லை, பொருள் இல்லார்க்கு இவ்வுலகம் இலாக்கி யாங்கு, which is exactly the content of no money, no honey part of the Quran. The saying no money, no honey also relates to airlines marketing and sales department. I shall explain it as following. Money is also referred as revenue in airline terminology. Revenue is the jet propulsion that propels the airline forward, while profitability is a necessary lift that keeps the airline flying and serving satisfactorily as expected by the customers. Let's take a look at revenue of an airline. I will share a slide here. Let me upload it up. I'm uploading the screen here for my slide. Okay. I hope you can see the slide at your end. Dr. Balaji, can you see the slide?
No. One moment, let me see.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I can see.
Yes, sir.
I can see it. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, the next slide. This is the revenue, what I mentioned earlier, for American Airlines. In the year 2018, the revenue for American Airlines from passenger and cargo was $41 billion. That is B as in boy, $41 billion. Now, it's interesting that one may ask, who helped American Airlines get its revenue of $41 billion? The question is answered as follows. The answer is the marketing and sales department, in cooperation with other departments such as operations, maintenance, finance, accounting, HR, management, IT, legal, etc., who directly or indirectly, helped to create profit out of the revenue brought in by the marketing and sales. So the marketing and sales department brings in the money as a revenue, and all of the departments together make honey, that is profit for the airline. Hence, to bring in revenue, the marketing and sales departments are vital to the airline business. Revenue generation against tough competition, changing business environment, including geopolitical factors, etc., is the responsibility of the marketing and sales department within the airline. The airline marketing and sales professionals use several resources, tools such as market research, market analysis, market forecast, business intelligence, current and future competition evaluation, local, regional, national, global economics, data mining, and creativity in achieving the market share and accomplishing the revenue targets, and if necessary, win against the competition. I'm glad all these points were touched by Dr. Muthuswamy and Dr. Balaji in the introduction. Creativity and out-of-the-box thinking is a very critical process in marketing and sales to win against the competition. Because generally, as Dr. Balaji mentioned, all the airlines have almost very similar resources, but how they leverage it, how they imagine it to do the marketing and sales is where the distinguishing factor, and creativity is one of them. So to convey that, I'll be showing another slide to show the creativity part of the marketing. So to begin with, let's go back, or let's fly back to year 1972, when Southwest Airline was profitably flying between Dallas and Houston in the state of Texas, USA. The ticket price by Southwest at that time for Dallas to Houston was $26. Here, as a sidebar, it is interesting to note how two successful entities were established 1 year apart and continents apart, and both are success stories now. Southwest Airline was established in 1967, and the Nehru College of Educational Charitable Trust was established in 1968. That's a really interesting coincidence. both successful organization won in consecutive years. Now, coming back to the Southwest Airline. In 1972, Southwest Airlines' profitable route of Dallas-Houston was so successful that it drew the attention of the competition. Like Dr. Balaji mentioned, you can't stop competition, and here it comes. So the direct competition came in the form of Braniff Airlines to Dallas-Houston route. To break Southwest Airlines' stronghold in that Dallas-Houston route, Braniff Airline gave 50% discount and offered a ticket fare for $13 per passenger, half of what Southwest was charging. So they hoped all the passengers will come over to Braniff, and hopefully Southwest will close the route and get off the business. But little did Braniff Airline knew. Braniff Airline underestimated the creative marketing and sales department strength of Southwest Airline. Southwest Airline responded with a newspaper ad saying, "Nobody's going to shoot Southwest Airlines out of the sky for a lousy $13," and matched Braniff's $13 fare, and most importantly, retained its $26 fare as well. Now, it's a very interesting point. One may wonder, why would any passenger buy a $26 fare while there's a $13 fare in the same cabin for the same route in the same airline? Well, here is where Southwest marketing and sales creativity shined brilliantly. That's what I'm drinking. Southwest offered a free bottle of premium liquor with each full price $26 tickets, and it became super popular among business travelers who would put $26 fare in their expense report and take the bottle of liquor home for free. That's premium liquor. For non-drinkers, Southwest gave a leather ice bucket as complimentary gift instead of the liquor bottle, thus covering both the customer segments, drinkers and non-drinkers. Braniff was shocked to see that 76% of Southwest's passengers were business travelers paid by their corporate employers. Generally, then and now, airlines love business travelers, the front-end travelers, business and first class. That's where the yield comes for the airline. So Braniff was shocked. 76% of Southwest passengers were business travelers. Let me show a slide in this juncture. So I hope, Mr. Rabah, you can see a slide, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks. So this slide, what you see here, it gives a very general, very condensed overview of a business traveler at that point of time in 1972 who wants to travel between Dallas and Houston, what choice he had. He had option one is that he buys a $26 ticket and the cost of that goes to his company's account. Then he gets the complimentary gift from the airline, that's a Southwest Airline, which is a leather ice bucket or a liquor bottle as a personal benefit. That's the benefit for the passenger. And for Southwest, the net ticket revenue for Southwest is $21 because the ticket is $26 and Southwest has got to pay around $5 in 1972 for the bottle or for the ice bucket. Well, they buy a bulk, so they get a good pricing. either this option 1 or the business traveler takes option 2, which is he buys a $13 ticket to save money for the company, and then no complimentary gift, nothing, no personal benefit for him. And Braniff gets $13 net for the as a revenue. Now, from reality, average passenger will look what's in it for me. So in this situation, Southwest won the competition against Braniff. The business traveler chose Southwest, and as I mentioned earlier, 76% of the flight was filled up with business traveler, paying $26, and they made $21, whereas Braniff made $13, and the flight was hardly full because there was no passengers wanting to go when they will get the benefit of flying with Southwest with a gift and also the loyalty factors. So this is one of the P which Dr. Muthuswamy elegantly explained, the 4 Ps and the 6 and 7 Ps. Here, we're talking about just 4 Ps, which is the pricing, product, promotion, and place. So this is the crucial point where Southwest defended its territory, secured and retained its market share and the yield as well. So the bottom line of this is Braniff couldn't withstand this defensive posture and aggressive pricing by Southwest, and Braniff abandoned the Dallas-Houston route, unable to beat Southwest combination of $13 fare and $26 fare with a bottle plus highly customer-friendly service plus existing loyalty and newfound loyalty. Believe it or not, during that 2-month period, Southwest Airline was the largest distributor of Chivas Regal, Crown Royal, Smirnoff in the state of Texas. That was very interesting news for the local media because they beat the hotels and other big consumers. Being an airline, they became the biggest distributor of the liquor. With such creative, dynamic, aggressive marketing and sales, Southwest Airline has been profitable for 32 consecutive years in achieving an achievement which is unmatched by in the airline industry. 32 years of consecutive profit. That is really unheard of. And they are still continuing to be, though facing various challenges like it faced in 1972 by Braniff. It has been facing challenges, but their marketing and sales were so creative and so right on the track, they were able to beat the competition and make a profit to good yield, and they survive and succeed. So the brief analysis of the real-life example of pricing competition between Southwest for the other 3 Ps, I'll show in the next slide. Mr. Rabba, can you say a new slide?
Yes, sir.
So in this slide, we see the other 3 Ps. There are 4 Ps as Dr. Muthuswamy explained, the price, place, product, promotion components. We saw in the earlier slide how in the 1 P, the price, Southwest beat Braniff. And now this is a sort of a market analysis, like a tool, if you will, or resource the marketing professionals use all over the world in the airline industry. So it is a good indication how you look at a situation and you use this tool, analyze it with this 4 Ps or 5 or 7 Ps, and you can tackle it with creativity. Here you see the other P, which is the place component of the 4 P. Southwest was well entrenched in Dallas, Houston with loyal customer base. So that is an advantage. So Southwest one there. Whereas Braniff, it was a new kid on the block in the Dallas, Houston, with no customer base. So in the place component, they didn't make it. They again lost there. Then comes the product component of the 4P. For Southwest, it's very interesting. The customer service is very, very important for them. They like to please the customer and keep the customer happy. Like one professor defined marketing in a very simple definition. Marketing is making people happy. It's as simple as that. And Southwest is a good proof of that. Southwest hires its employees for the attitude. That's what they say, hire for attitude and train for skill. That is the HR policy. So they find people who are customer friendly, customer centric, more than being like with a typical negative approach of following the rules to the dot. They do follow rules, of course. Safety is non-negotiable. That's a different part of the story. But bottom line, the pleasant attitude of the customer is guaranteed right from the employment. They don't mind if they're not that much skilled. They will train them, because skill is something you can train somebody. Attitude is something one is born with. It's very difficult to train or inculcate an attitude overnight or even a 2 weeks period of time. So Southwest made a brilliant decision of hire for attitude and train for skill. And top of that, the management was so strong in the belief that the employees are ethical and smart enough with a good attitude. They also empower them to take decision on the spot. If the situation arises, there's a challenge there, the employee are empowered to make a decision on the spot, to resolve it to the satisfaction of the customer. And of course, they had to later go and defend the decision to the management, why they did it, why it is good for the customer, and why it's good in the long run for the airline. So that is the empowerment part. So again here, Southwest in this product component, because the customer service also is part of a product component, the 4P, Southwest checks out well. They won that part also. Whereas Braniff is a typical traditional company with a conservative management and HR policy where they employ a person for a skill. They first say, oh, are you skilled? Can do this 100% perfectly? Or you don't have a good attitude, doesn't matter. You need a skill. So though they hire those people, some of them might turn to be robotic. They follow the rules and then do everything which will please the rules and regulation, not the customer, though it won't hurt the bottom line. Again, in this situation, Braniff was doing that, and the employees become unempathetic to the customer because their attitude is not like that of Southwest attitude, where they put the customer first. So again, in this part, the product component of 4P also, Braniff lost it. The last of the 4P here is the promotion part. Southwest Airline, which was in the early 70s, they were a revolutionary low-cost airline. They did so many things, revolutionary, new concepts, new practices, new management processes, techniques, anything. They didn't follow the old rut. They had everything new way of doing things. This draws the attention of the media, like the newspaper, TV, radio. They always want to know something new, not the usual stuff. The flight takes off from here and goes there, or the same job done doesn't interest them, but something new, it attracts the attention of the media. When you attract the attention of media, that's publicity, and publicity is 100% free advertisement. So to give you a couple of examples here, Southwest mastered the art of turning around the aircraft in 10 minutes time at the gate at that time, because the more time the aircraft is in the air, the airline makes profit. More time the aircraft is on the ground, the airline loses money. So 10 minutes was impossible for other carriers, but Southwest did it. So that was a big deal at that time and still remains now. Even now, a couple of years back, I think some journalists physically verified a turnaround time of 15 to 20 minutes by Southwest. It's well documented. If you can do a Google search with the keyword Southwest, turnaround 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you will hit those websites. So this turnaround time caught the publicity angle of the media. So that was one. Another one is the Southwest Airline. At that time, the cabin crew, their uniform was not the regular like what you see with other carriers, conservative ones. They wore go-go boots and short skirts, which is something of a shocking for other carriers. As compared to Braniff, their crew wore designer suits, very conservatively designed. So they didn't get the traction with the media to get a free publicity. And Braniff has got to spend money on the advertisement dollars, big time, to counter the free publicity and the advertisement by Southwest. So Braniff was spending a big budget on the advertisement. It's a part of marketing mix. So once again here, when Braniff was spending so much money in the advertisement, that means they couldn't spend much money in other parts. So all put together, it affects the yield, the bottom line. The loss increases for the route. So again here, Southwest wins it and Braniff lost. So if you combine the 3Ps here and the 1P in the earlier slide, it's very clear how beautifully Southwest creatively and clinically dismantles Braniff's attack on the turf between Dallas and Houston. And as I mentioned earlier, Braniff left the market and disappeared from that route, Dallas to Houston. So the reason I touched upon this one to show how marketing and sales can make or break an airline. So the marketing and sales are creative and brilliant in their strategy, in plans, and the marketing mix. They can make big money, which again can be converted by profit by other departments involved. So marketing and sales are, like as Dr. Muthuswamy mentioned, are the darling of the airlines among several departments, because the revenue, the money comes through that department. Like I showed in the first slide, American Airlines made $41 billion thanks to marketing and sales. Of course, all of the department matters, but the gateway for the revenue is planned and executed by the marketing and sales. Now, having spoken about how important marketing and sales is in airline industry, I would like to talk a little more further on the job structure, the responsibilities, and what's the scope for students looking for a career in the marketing and sales in the airline industry. To do that, let me pull up another slide. Mr. Rama, can you see a new slide? Marketing
Yes.
sales.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Welcome.
In this slide, it gives a generic overview of marketing and sales personnel functions and hierarchy. Once again, this is a very like a bare bone generic view. In reality, the airlines might have different titles or prefixes to the titles. For example, A marketing manager could be a senior marketing manager or a junior marketing manager or assistant marketing manager or a deputy marketing manager, etc. Or they could combine marketing and sales manager. So a lot of variations are possible, but this will give a general idea, a rough classification of the personnel and the functions and hierarchy. Let's start from the bottom right corner, the functional support responsibilities. This is like a sort of an entry-level definition, if you will. And I have listed a few of them here. One big division among this is the airport side and the city side. And the airport side, the jobs are mostly airport check-in agents, airport customer service agents, airport passenger service agents. And these agents' job functions are mostly, as the name indicates, gate agents or at the gate who collects a boarding pass and checks baggage size, dimensions, weight, and let them go in. And the check-in is the front part of that, where they literally check in. Of course, now it's all in US mostly self-check-in in the kiosk. So even there, we are still check-in agents around to help in case of any kinks in the kiosk machines. And airport customer service agents who help the customers in, for example, wheelchairs or unaccompanied minors, MEDA cases, various. And as airport passenger agents help them in reservation, ticketing, rerouting. So this group are airport side employees. The other, the city side is mostly marketing analyst, marketing coordinator, marketing specialist, communication specialist, user experience specialist. Here, the user experience, UX, this is an interesting job because it is sort of combines a bit of IT and also marketing. By user experience, what they mean is that for a passenger, whether it be a handheld mobile smartphone or a tablet or a laptop or a desktop, the experience of that particular the consumer or customer should be very easy and pleasant, and the navigation should be like not self-intuitive. It doesn't need to go through a training course to get on the website, make a booking or change the booking, purchase a ticket, add on requests for special meals or whatsoever. That experience part is something part of the UX specialist job function. And then we have a communication specialist who does the communication between the airline and the customer, be it like email marketing or any other campaigns going on specifically. So these are the functional support responsibilities. And these responsibilities, persons will have authority levels as in this part of the slide, where it says generic support responsibilities. Generally speaking, it will be a supervisor, a team lead, or team member. Say, for example, there's a marketing analyst, could be the supervisory authorities will be a marketing analyst supervisor, or a marketing analyst team lead, or a marketing analyst team member. Could be that or without that, but it's a possible structure of growing up in the hierarchy. And moving further up in the hierarchy, we get the operational management, who are all managers. And here again, the airline terminology, we have, interestingly, they call account manager. Account means the customer. It's not an individual customer, but like a corporate customer, a business customer. That's what they mean as account manager. So to start off with, an account manager might have like maybe 10 or 20 travel agencies or a couple of consolidators under his account, which he has got to sales and service and coordinate and help them of any requirement the airline expects from them, and vice versa. And the key account manager is one step more important. There might be like TMCs like travel management corporations, like huge ones, which in turn has hundreds of corporate accounts. So they might be given, the key account manager might have such a huge accounts, but the yield is more and more of front cabin passengers traveling. So as the name indicates, the key account is very important for the airline. So a couple of them will be given to the key account manager, depending on the volume. And national account manager is more of geographic. Some of the corporate companies, more than one, has several locations within the country, in different states and different cities. So then those sort of accounts will be given to the national account manager. And likewise, global account manager is one where the accounts are spread all over the globe. A quick example could be like IBM. IBM can have offices, several offices, businesses, manufacturing in the USA, Canada, Europe, India, Japan, Australia. So this global account manager will be a point person for that account and for the airline for interfacing. It makes convenient. Again, all these titles, sometimes they could overlap. Like the global account manager might have a couple of national accounts also. It really depends on the sales manager and the marketing manager. The local management decides how to utilize the human resource and tackle the market and compete with the competition. So moving further, the hierarchy, we have the senior tactical management and the executive strategic management. The highest in the hierarchy echelon is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And reporting to him generally will be various other departments like, as I mentioned before, operations, legal, HR, IT, etc. One of them will be marketing and sales. Some airlines might not call it marketing and sales. They may call it a commercial department. So they might have a chief commercial officer. Some might call it chief marketing officer. Once again, these names are not written on stone. Each airline has its own way of naming the title and giving the responsibility accordingly. So this is the top layer. And the next layer below them is the tactical management, the directors, head of department, general manager, regional manager. Like Dr. Balaji said, in Oman, they have country managers. So it could differ, like the names can differ, but the idea is that geographically and responsibility, authority, they all go in hand. It's interesting to note at entry level from the functional support, there's not much of authority, but a lot of responsibility. As you go up the hierarchy, the responsibility is there and also the authority grows. So for example, the topmost CEO, he has a maximum authority and big time responsibility. The layers below becomes a little reduced authority and but responsibility remains a little bit high. So that is the continuum goes through the layers. So that being said, now let me go to the next slide, and I'll have to bother Mr. Rabah. Mr. Rabah, check if it's visible, please.
Yes, visible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well done.
This gives like an approximate list of job opportunity scope in airline and marketing sales. Once again, as a full disclosure, this is only an indicative list, not a comprehensive list. I request the students to do a Google search on using keywords, airline jobs or job definitions, etc. You will find lots of, or you can even go to the airline website directly and then see what are the job openings. A couple of airlines you see, you will get an idea what are the openings are popular and which one is in your career path and which sort of job definition appeals to you, or what skill sets you are planning to get, or education or training which match them. Or You can acquire new value-added courses like IATA courses, etc. So many possibilities. You are the driving seat. Once you have the information, then you prepare yourself. And like I like to recall, some people say it's all luck, but that's one of the definition for luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So you prepare yourself with whatever knowledge you can gain from your education you're doing currently, and what value addition you can do to those knowledge by learning more skills. You can check with your mentors, your faculty. They'll guide you where, how, when to acquire the knowledge, preparing for you these opportunities. I will briefly explain some of the job opportunity scope listed here. There is again a big divide in the marketing. Thanks to the internet, we have now digital marketing, which was not there like several years back. It was all traditional marketing, where we had brick and mortar offices. So there was like a face-to-face meeting, mostly handshakes and get together and all sort of things. The traditional marketing was taking place, but now it's a digital marketing. And now they're talking about artificial intelligence, where hardly even a human being is there responding to your questions, your chats, your emails. So that's a big divide there. So in the traditional marketing, things remain same. For example, advertising in print media or television or radio is the same. And publicity is what we saw in the how Southwest Airline does publicity by doing innovative things that draws attention. Or, for example, they do a road show, whatever it is, where they don't spend much money. They don't pay money to the media personnel to splash their name or information. So that's the publicity part. And the alliances is something been there for some time. Some airline, what they do is that they alone probably cannot expand into some other territory for cost consideration, for competition. So they tie up with another airline or a couple of airlines, or maybe even 10 or 20 airlines. They form alliances. And by doing alliances, they do code sharing, and they share the cost of advertisement and servicing to a customer. What was once the competitors, they become cooperators. So those are alliances. It has been going strong. There are quite a few alliances in the world right now, and they are happy so far. And then the brand management is typically how to propagate the brand, project them, the company. So like as Dr. Balaji mentioned, the customer goes and to check in and say, I want to fly Singapore Airlines, nobody else. So that shows the brand imprint on the customer by the airline concerned. That's excellent brand management. Likewise, down the line, you see all those definition, the job opportunities. They're all traditional marketing. Moving to the right side, this is where the fun part now is. The digital marketing is the new darling of the industry. It's a very data intensive and IT involved activity, and also gives a lot of scope to creativity, and the response time is very quick. Like to give a sample, if you talk about business analytics, they sort of do data mining, or they do a lot of huge data subsets. They analyze it. They look for trends. They look for. They ask what if question, what then question, and they try to get insights. They interpret the data, what it's saying to them. Like for example, they look into 10 months passenger uplift within certain city pair, and if 1 month the load is dropping down, they will go and they'll drill down deep in the data set and see what are the causative factors it dropped down. By doing so, they get insight, and mostly such insights lead to solutions, so they can avoid in the future. This is just only one small aspect of the business analytics. They also do forecasting. They look at the past history, they look at the industry trend, they evaluate the competition, and then they tell to the managers, this is the forecast we expect, and they may give more than one scenarios, the base scenario, the worst case scenario, or the best case scenario will happen in certain time period in the future. And then it's up to the management to go to the creative part of the marketing and see what solution we can do for that. This is the forecast given by the business analytics. What's the strategy we're going to have to avoid this slump in that period or to increase the yield? There could be many criteria for that. So that's what the business analytics do. Interestingly, I like to say one more thing which might look strange word here, which is the storyteller. This is an interesting job, particularly for a big airline. Again, all this job definition will vary with the size of the airline, the volume of the revenue, and number of flights per day, or the total passenger uplift. It all depends on that. Say for a huge airline which has hundreds of flights per week, there are a lot of possibilities. There could be disruptions for many reasons, by weather disruptions or something else happening, like aircraft is malfunctioning some part, or delays in the gate or traffic at the airport. So many things can go wrong. And the passenger is in the dark, doesn't know what's happening. He's waiting either at his home, checking for update, is the flight on time, or is in the airport making a connecting flight, doesn't know when is the next flight coming or what's the problem with it. So all these things, to avoid that gap in communication, the storyteller is the one who types the messages that will be broadcast to the specific flight or maybe into a specific passenger if need be, where the storyteller has got to explain complex matters in simple layman terms at the minimum words possible. It could be challenging, particularly when you're going to do several times per day and a week, and you have to be creative, not to give a negative spin, give a positive spin. And there are certain legal requirements where they have to do a full disclosure and they can't pull a fast one. So the storyteller has a lot of pressures, the legal compliance, and same time pleasing the customer, and how much can be revealed. So that is a storyteller's job in airlines, a very interesting job. And moving to the sales side, as we saw in the previous slide, we saw of account manager, national account manager, global account, etc. The accounts they have could be classified as here. We have channel sales. Sorry. Channel sales is generally defined as like travel agents or other aspects where the sales is done through, or even website sales. And the charter sales is the airlines charters aircrafts. There are huge customers who charter aircrafts on a regular basis or on an ad hoc basis. There are sports teams which charter flights to move around the teams around the states. And of course, there are research scientists. There's so many charter sales and VIPs, VVIPs. So those are charter sales. And the corporate sales is, like as I mentioned, IBM or McDonald's. So all these huge corporations. Or it could be also a small company with 100 to 150 employees as a corporate. There are certain criteria for the airlines to recognize them as a corporate account, because as a corporate account, they might get a preferential pricing, and the airline doesn't want to dilute their revenue by giving that pricing to a one-person company that the person might be benefiting with the lower fare when actually it's not a corporation. We just have a shell company. So there are a lot of underlying invisible factors of what they call as a corporate account. And there's a government sales, so it's a government account. As the name suggests, sales by government, and the government has certain restriction. Like in USA, the government restriction is that over-the-water flights should be in a government airline. So there's certain restriction, and also they have vetting process. So they'll assign some account manager or national account manager or even a sales manager to handle the government sales. And the leisure sales is generally like a tourism sort of thing, where people are traveling for leisure without any corporate requirement that somebody's got to be at a meeting on Monday morning, etc., etc. So that is the leisure sales. And the MICE is a meeting, incentive, conference, exhibition. This again, it's a huge revenue segment for the airline. Because if it's an exhibition, there'll be like maybe 300 people traveling to an exhibition, and maybe it's the same company, same corporation. It's a huge slice of revenue. So there are account managers who track this company, existing customers, about their MICE travel opportunities. So that's MICE. And lastly, the special market sales is all those markets which doesn't fall in the channel sales, charter, or government, goes to special market, like family and friends, visiting family and friends, pilgrimage travel, or special interest travel, etc. Those comes in special markets sales. So that is an overview. As I told you, it's a very non-detailed. We can go in detail, we go slides after slides, but it will be an overload of data in a short period of time. And as I mentioned, please Google search with the keywords you heard today or read today, and you will get tons of information which will definitely help you in deciding your career path, the career in marketing and sales in the airline. It's as both Dr. Balaji and Dr. Muthuswamy said, marketing sales is the fun part of the airline, because there you can really challenge creativity in you. And of course, the analytical part is there. There's a very fine balance of analysis and creativity. So it's both the right brain and left brain activity for the professionals. And I want to also add, many airlines, they will accept interns, like college students or fresh graduates can join the airline as interns, and then they learn the ropes, and then they can decide what career path in marketing and sales they can pursue. And before I end, I'd like to also mention there's some skills which are getting popular in the marketing and sales of airline. They are like data analytics, visual analytics, social media skills, CRM skills. This is apart from the existing MS Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint skill. Besides that, this is the expectation of the marketing sales in the airlines. So you can focus on those stuff as a student to be ready and prepared when the opportunity arises to work for marketing sales in airline. With that, I come to the conclusion of my presentation. I'd like to thank all the viewers of this webinar and for the valuable time. If there are any comments or follow-up questions, please forward it to the coordinator, and you shall receive response for it. Thank you for your valuable time in viewing this webinar. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you,
Thank
sir, for the mind-blowing session. We are convinced that our student community who have undergone or have been studying the airline sales and marketing paper as part of their academics would have had an excellent comprehension of the subject. As IATA coordinator in charge of the IATA's airline customer service, I am delighted to extend my heartfelt thanks to you, Mr. Madhu Bharani sir, on
Thank,
behalf of the IATA students, because I
thank you, ma'am.
teach them about the key concepts you use like empathy, empowering the employees, and we also discuss Southwest Airlines as a case study for
Very,
a customer-centric organization. Thank you very much, sir.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
நன்றி மறப்பது நன்றென்று அன்றல்லது நன்றல்லது அன்றே மறப்பது நன்று. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. It is also a powerful catalyst for happiness. There is an end to everything, but we believe that there is never an end, but always a beginning. So that's to conclude for today with a deep sense of happiness. I'd like to invite the ever-loving, ever-smiling, and the man behind today's show, Mr. Erasto Raba, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, Airline and Airport Management, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Mom, for such a beautiful introduction. Good afternoon to everyone present in this meeting, our beloved Dean, Dr. P.R. Balaji, our guest, Mr. Madhu Bharani, Dr. P. Muthusami-sir, Professor Emeritus, HOD BBA BSc, Professor R. Singaravarivelu, sir, Trading Manager, AME and AME Department, Ramesh Babu, sir, my teaching fraternity and my faculty members who brings joy and happiness into my life, and my dear lovely students. It's an immense pleasure to be with you in this webinar to present to you a vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Almighty God for His marvelous blessing in good health and His protection during this pandemic period of COVID-19. I would also like to thank and pay homage to our founder and chairman, Chiripi Das, for his idea in starting an educational institution which has now brought us together at this moment to gain knowledge. In absentia, I would like to thank our Honorable Managing Trustee, Advocate P.K. Krishnadas, and also extend my heartfelt gratitude to our CEO and Secretary, Dr. P. Krishna Kumar, for constantly encouraging us to keep abreast with the latest skills and technology for the benefits of our students. I want to thank our dynamic Dean, very flexible, very innovative, of our students, and always constantly working hard to ensure that nothing stops us. We keep on moving ahead despite of even COVID-19 that is facing us. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing up this idea. Thank you so much for your presidential address. And thank you so much for empowering us and giving us opportunity to discover our skills and talents. God bless you, sir. Wisdom and knowledge, wisdom and knowledge is much more precious than rubies and fine gold. This wonderful day, we are blessed with our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Madhu Bharani, ex-head of sales, Kuwait Airways, Chicago and New York, USA, ex-national account manager, Japan Airlines, Chicago, USA, who wholeheartedly accepted our invitation to share his knowledge and experience in airline sales and marketing. He has shown us various examples on how marketing and sales can uplift an airline, various roles and responsibilities of marketing team, and job opportunities for our students. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time with us in this webinar and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. I sincerely thank Dr. P. Muthusami-sir, Professor Emeritus, MBA, Airline and Airport Department, for his welcome address. Thank you so much, sir, for taking this opportunity to welcome the gathering. My sincere thanks goes to HOD, BP, and BSc Department, Professor R. Singaravarivelu, sir, Training Manager, AME and AME Department, Ramesh Babu, sir, for their active participation. There is a Latin word, it is known as E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. Together, we rise as one. I want to thank our MBA Airline and Airport Management Department staff, Mr. Govinda Swale sir, Mrs. Maliga ma'am, and Mr. Madan sir. I would also like to thank our BBA and BSc department staff for coming out and assisting us to ensure that this webinar is successful. Thanks to our mom, Mrs. Elekia mom, for our YouTube streaming, Mrs. Vasuki mom, MOC team, and our alumni, who has also become a valuable asset in our institution, Mr. Sabin Isaac. Thank you so much, sir. And they have shown us how together we can rise as one. Thanks are due to our professor, Mr. Nur Ahmed sir, for his support in technical department and in YouTube streaming. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. I would also like to thank other dignitaries, my dear students, and participants for their keen interest in this seminar. God bless you all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Over to the MOC team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabba sir.
Patriotism is your conviction that this country is superior to all others. One flag, one land, and one heart, one nation. Yes, it's our Mother India. Now, let us all pay tribute to her.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. This concludes the webinar. On behalf of MBA Airline and Airport Management Department, we wholeheartedly thank all the dignitaries, our decorated chief guest, teaching fraternity, students, and other participants for the smooth conduct of this webinar. We look forward for your active participation and cooperation in such online sessions in future too. Participants who have fully filled up the feedback form that will be provided shortly will receive their e-certificates for participation. Thank you all once again. Stay safe. Thank you, special guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Barney, thank you so much. It was a wonderful in-depth presentation, and I'm sure it will be very, very useful for our students. Normally, as an academician, when we speak, they will think it's only a book knowledge. But when the industry people they speak, that's more value to them. So thank you so much. It's already past midnight for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we have kept you awake. Thank you so much, and
Pleasure.
have a good night. And I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Okay.
And whatever the things, recordings, I can send it to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks to
Thank you.
Mr. Rabba also, and of course,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome.
Sir,
Bye. Good night.
thank you very much. Very nice webinar. Very good, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
God
you.
bless you all.
Okay.